Blocked canals, uncleared drainage channels are prominent features here in Odo-Onua Apata, one of the areas flooded after the August 2011 terrestrial rains in Ibadan, the Oyo State capital. Many claim there were 11 local government areas affected in the disaster. This flood, which ravaged the ancient town, has been compared to the Omiyale flood experienced precisely 31 years ago on August 31, 1980. At the end, the Ogunpa River, which overflew its banks, resulted in many deaths. It was then channeled, and many people believed a lasting solution had been found.
For any occurrences or happening, government will definitely take action. And the beginning of the action to attend to the problem of flood that happened last year, precisely August 26-27, was setting up of the task force. And the task force was given terms of reference to determine the remote and all other causes of the flood.
What was witnessed here in Ibadan, many have attributed to a problem of urban planning, management and renewal. The peculiarity of Ibadan, however, resulted from the historical interface of the city as an unplanned rural cosmopolitan settlement which evolved into the premier southwestern political, social and commercial hub.
No master plan. What the government has decided now as an imperative is the development of a master plan. Also, the government plans to create new towns to solve this problem of heavy clustering of houses. So the government plans to decluster the city of Ibadan by spreading out communities, creating new towns and communities. That's the plan so far, and we're on it.
Now the government has commenced the demolition of some illegal structures across the city.
Medium term is what is going on now. That is clearing the water paths, removing all obstacles to the flowing of flood water, rainwater, and that is what is going on now, so that when the rain season comes back, water will be able to flow easily, so that there will not be spread of water and the last experience we had may not occur.
It is not every structure that had been marked that has got to be demolished.
Why is that?
Based on certain criteria. Though there are structures that are really within the statutory setback of the streams and rivers, they have to go, which are really sunk, in the streams and rivers. And there are those that fall within the floodable plains. In other words, you want to go by the disaster the last year, flood caused. There are certain structures that observe the statutory setback that were even affected. They are not going to be, demolished. So it is those structures that were really, within the statutory setback, that have been touched.
The government has a plan for them, actually. If your building was approved, then definitely you're a legitimate occupant and have a legitimate claim for recompense or for compensation in the event that your structure would be marked for demolition or would need to be demolished. If your structure is where it shouldn't be, then I'm not going to say that we're going to ask you to move out of there. There will be compromise of some sort. it's not everybody that will be displaced that's on the path of the road that will be removed. It depends. It really depends. There will be a lot of consideration, for that person or for that place. How does it work? Can we go around it? I mean, there'll be a lot of considerations. We're not going to be hard-faced.
The government doesn't want to, demolish at all. Even the World Bank goes against it. We had a number of World Bank representatives that are, been in contact with the state government, saying that, the World Bank, is not in line with demolition of houses, and that is why it has taken so long a time.
As we move around the affected areas in Odono Akpata, residents point out the problems. They say the government is not tackling the cause of the problem. Many of the residents of a smaller community within the area, which is close to the riverbank, have abandoned their homes. The damage done to their homes is still evident.
And normally, government have been coming. We have the Red Cross. They came here for some relief. The relief people, giving them foods and so on. Since then, and they even clothes to help people who lost their materials one way or the other. So since then, that's what we've been seeing. But yet, we've never seen anything done concerning it. So we are employ the government to please come over to come and help us. This channel, it needed to be expanded so that the flood can go freely anytime there is rain. So that's where we are expecting government for. Because people are still suffering a lot, concerning all these things. People are suffering. Some who left their homes, their homes, house unexpectedly. All these things has been, wet away by these things. So we are expecting government to please bring more relief to people in this area.
This woman and her neighbors claim that there is no refuse dump site here. She claims that rubbish is burned somewhere in her backyard, but here everyone dumps the refuse in the canals. It is not uncommon to drive round the Oyo State capital and see refuse on the roadside. The rubbish are sometimes washed by rain into rivers and drainages, which are later blocked.
We need to tell people also to be aware. To dispose their refuse properly. Because when we are talking, it's government. It's not all. It's not government all over. But the people also, they need to dispose their refuse. We can see some refuse that have been dumping inside the river channel. It's also another problem. So we employ government also to give us refuse disposal this waste. So that, because if you look at this area, there's no single refuse disposal dustbin at all. So we are expecting government to please help us out of that one. Because if there is dustbin, we can send people there, can ask them to go and dispose their refuse into the something.
Construction have started. They are rightly now at the Aulo Junction. This is Upper Okumpa River. They have been dredging that one. There are some other places like Urugun. They have mobilized their machine over to that place. Apart from that, the Ministry of Physical Plan and Urban Development has started demolitions of structures on the waterways, which have started a week ago. But however, you see, the contract procedure is very enormous. We are not doing direct labor here. We are awarding contracts to people that are able to do it. Are you okay? And whether they like it or not, they have to follow some procedure. They have to get APG, they have to get this performance bond, and some other things like that before we mobilize them.
The Meteorological Agency says Warri will have the highest length of rainfall season this year, with 247 days and 2,649 millimeters of rainfall. This is followed by Ibadan with 446 days and 1,275 millimeters of rainfall expected between the 26th of March and the 27th of November 2012, while Nguru has the shortest length of rainfall this year with 93 days. The Meteorological Agency predicted normal rainfall may result in flash flooding, particularly in the northern states. It should also be noted that wet spells and flash floods could occur even in areas with a likelihood of near normal to below normal rainfall. Such flash floods may lead to physical damage to crops in the field, agricultural equipment and structures such as dams, as well as physical damage to infrastructure such as roads, rail lines and telecommunication networks, loss of lives and displacement of large population due to the disruption of agricultural activities as a result of extreme weather that is very likely. The agency also warns that some parts of the country are expected to experience flood that may likely wash away houses and farmlands. With the little rain witnessed this year, the impact of the blocked drains are already being felt. The landlady of this house told me that this fallen wall was built in March. She said she's yet to pay the bricklayers. The first rain in April destroyed the wall. But to some, she is lucky.
1977
Isiaka Aromirele is one of those affected in the flood of August 2011. The street on which he lives in Okeayo is completely deserted. Six people died here, and this is their grave, I was told. Isiaka built his house in 1997, and since then he has been working to keep his home safe.
The river was not like this before, but when it started to disturb us in 1986, I was the one that cut off the bamboos because the river was flowing through the bamboos. It is the bamboo that is now affecting us because it's diverting the water to our side. In fact, I took the photograph clearing the bamboo trees. Someone even asked the police to arrest me, saying I diverted the river to his compound, but I was cleared. But if they want to help us now, they must clear the bamboo trees and dredge the river.
One of the things you will notice on entering this compound is this grave, his mother's grave. And he has been telling anyone who cares to listen that he must be buried here. Right now, only his children and a tenant remain. This house used to be a vibrant place, I was told. 4 families on the left and 4 on the right, each having between 2 to 4 children. But since the incident of August 26, 2011, the house is totally abandoned, and the landlord of the house is worried help may not come soon.
We cannot do everything at once. And I know you see us, on ground. So after we might have finished with this, we move into Akinyele, and so, as it goes, we are going to cover all the local governments in Ibadan. So the state government set up a lot of ad hoc committees. We are the last that embark on the demolition now. First of all, as soon as the disaster happened on the 26th of August last year, the state government put in place a task force that came about 26,000 houses that are to be demolished. It was thereafter the state government mandated the Minister of Physical Planning and Urban Development to do its own, independent of what the task force had done. And we came about 2,000 houses to be demolished. It was then the state government, out of the resolution of the ESCO, the Oyo State Executive meeting, that we still have to bring down the number of houses to be demolished, because the state government has an alternative plan, which is the dredging I've told you about.
Stories like this abound along this river channel, but it seems with no evidence of dredging or clearing going on, the coming rainy days could be very challenging, not just for these people, but the government.
The government is putting in place necessary, measure to avert, possible flooding again this year. But as time rolls by, the government will still be coming, up with other, more lasting, solutions.
The long term is meant to have a master plan for drainage for Ibadan and other cities like that, such that the next 50 years or 100 years, we should have determined the extent of the stream expansion, and therefore prevent anything that will lead to flood along the floodplain.
We'd love to hear from you. Do you have a comment or questions? Do send them to us by email on earthfile@channelstv.com.